You see, the thing with the Vancouver Canucks is that in a state like they're in right now, where things are this bad, there are so many freaking ideas that are thrown out there every few days, every few hours on the radio, on journalism platforms, on different podcasts, etc., that talk about this team and that I do think are interesting enough ideas that we can make full-length videos about them. I try not to do the entire, okay, let's cover everything in one video type of thing, because, I'm in the process of self-preservation here in these cold winter times. This is my full-time job after all. So any individual conversation, I like to go out there and go super in-depth with it. This is why, heading into the holidays, it's going to be quite a challenge to figure out where we're going to talk about Canucks stuff, because there are so many topics that I got to go out there and figure out which ones are actually worthy of putting first up on the chopping block, which ones do I think can get pushed back a little bit, and I feel like with the weekend coming up and the way I want to structure the show for Canucks-related things, this is a nice introductory video that we can make heading into this Canucks back-to-back stint against both Seattle and Edmonton. The Canucks are playing the Kraken at home, so we'll see if the team can get out of their 5-1 home woes. But when it comes to the captain of the squad, what I wanted to talk about was the Bo Horvat situation once again. Now, we're going to make another video later in the weekend-ish area. Yeah, I don't take holidays off because it's my job to make videos out of my bedroom. This is not really all too much of a difficult job, to be honest. But when it comes to Bo Horvat, we're going to make a video talking about the trade rumors, the trade ideas, proposals that have been thrown out there by Sportsnet. But before that, I wanted to go over what exactly the price appears to be. Not the price in terms of a trade, but the price in terms of an extension. Because if you go over to one of the more recent 32 Thoughts articles, this is the one Friedman published. When was this published? On the 15th, so a week ago. 32 Thoughts, how Vancouver ended up in a tough spot with Bo Horvat. It's right there in the title of the post, but this article opens up with an introductory thought or two about the Canucks captain. What I wanted to do was read these two thoughts right here and just go over my opinions as to how the cookies crumble. I don't believe in absolutes, Friedman writes. Feelings change over time. What you think today might not be what you think tomorrow, and everyone should avoid emotional decisions. That said, we're 11 weeks, now 10 weeks, because this article was published a week ago, from the trade deadline, and it's getting extremely hard to see Bo Horvat wearing a Johnny Canuck reverse retro past March 3rd. I don't profess to know Horvat well, but here's my amateur psychology. He's very proud to be Vancouver's captain, definitely capable of handling the Canadian microscope, but he prefers to keep the spotlight at arm's length and does not like his business being splashed over the internet like a Kardashian. Cough, cough, I think I'm part of the problem. Sorry, Bo, but then again, he is a captain of a hockey team, so there you go. Horvat won't do the hockey equivalent of smashing 62 home runs like Aaron Judge in the all-time contract season, but he sure doesn't seem distracted, on pace for 59 goals heading into Wednesday's game in Calgary. In his mind, summers are for talking, seasons are for playing. And so, with this introductory thought, Friedman is pretty much establishing that Bo Horvat is pretty good in the microscope that is the Canadian hockey media sphere. We're not going to go out there and deny that. Now, I will say it's getting a little repetitive hearing Horvat say the same thing over and over again, which is, I mean, what else can he say, right? He called himself out in the last 5-1 loss at home, saying, yeah, what else can I say? Like, I keep on repeating myself, but we are not good enough in these games. We have slow starts, etc. This is the thought that actually makes the entire video topic here, though. Second thought on 32 Thoughts, how did we get here? At the draft, there was a league-wide consensus that Horvat would be extended, with JT Miller's negotiation being more of a challenging escape room puzzle. The Canucks initially indicated that they saw Horvat in a similar mold to Edmonton's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, although that was more of a conceptual thing as opposed to offering him a similar contract. Okay, now that's actually a little bit of an interesting contradiction, because we did hear from other insiders that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' contract was what the Canucks offered Bo. Whatever the case, there was never a time an extension appeared close. As Labor Day approached, Vancouver pivoted to Miller, reigniting talks and completing a contract out of nowhere. Because of what happened with Miller, I'm loath to declare this over. It sounds like they've offered Horvat both 7- and 8-year deals, but multiple sources indicate that chasm is wide and bridging it will be difficult. They've definitely put him on the market, with teams indicating the Canucks are asking what you'd want for a premium rental. Tight cap situations mean there's time to sort it out, and Vancouver could try to sign him again. The challenge, as I see it, is they're not keen on going over Miller's $56 million figure, and Horvat's monster season puts him in a position to go above that. And so, when it comes to the price, this is appearing to be what the Canucks' personal price point is for a Horvat contract, and it appears that Horvat's own price too would be quite above that. Now, it's kind of understandable to see why the Canucks would not want to have a contract on the books that is more expensive than JT's $56 million, 8 AAV by 7 years. It's because that's a lot of freaking money, and on a team where you're probably going to have to shell out, let's say, that amount of money, maybe a bit more, probably a bit more, for Elias Pettersson and the negotiations with him that are going to start out soon, there's room for doubt when going out there and saying, okay, well, we can sign Horvat to a $60 million contract and we'll be okay with that. It's just kind of interesting how Miller was the guy that got the $56 million deal, but of course we made a video about that yesterday. It's just, for Bo, you know his agent has the argument loaded up right there and ready to go. Hey, JT had 99 points last year, he is older than Bo, and Bo is on pace to having a season that is arguably better than that. Sure, Miller had 99 points, but Bo is on pace for 58 goals. Let's say Bo gets that 60-goal marker. Would you not debate that kind of season is quote-unquote better or more valuable than a 99-point season where the guy had 30 goals and 60-something assists, with a whole bunch of his points being on the power play with secondary assists, etc.? There is an argument to be made that from the Miller contract, Bo should be getting more. It's just, you know, we've discussed it so much on this channel about how Bo's impact has been good or bad or whatever, how Miller has been bad, etc., that, I don't know, I just kind of default to the same argument that we had been bringing up before. If Bo gets an AAV that is somewhat in a higher territory than Miller's 8, let's say 8.1 or whatever some other team is willing to pay him, maybe 9, 9.5, because hey, he's on pace for 60 goals, right? It really wouldn't feel right saying that Bo Horvat is a player who is worth $2 or maybe $1.5 million AAV more than a guy like Elias Pettersson or a guy like Quinn Hughes, let alone saying that he is a guy who's worth maybe $1 million or $2 more than JT, but just comparing him to the other talents on the team, it doesn't really fit. Sure, Bo is the captain. Sure, Bo has been here the longest. Sure, Bo is a leader. Sure, he's good in the room. Sure, he can talk to the media. But at the end of the day, does that guy deserve to be making that much more than Elias Pettersson? Or Quinn? Even just Quinn. Petey's going to get his contract extension process started sometime next year, but if Bo is making, let's say, 8.5 or 9, what in the world is Elias Pettersson going to start out as a result of those conversations? Like, sure, Petey, pay the guy whatever he wants. If he wants 10, pay him 10. He's worth that. But right now, with Bo Horvat pricing himself so far out of Vancouver's comfortable range, you just gotta go out there and wonder what in the heck are they gonna get in return for this guy. Because based off of all the media speculation, I don't think Bo is gonna settle for anything less than that Miller $8 million AAV deal. And if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, before Bo went out there and started scoring at a 60-goal pace, before he was second overall in the league behind Connor McDavid in goals, I would have said, okay, if you wanted to re-sign Bo, probably sign him to a 6.5 to 7 million at max AAV deal, because that's just the kind of player that he is. We had talked about this before, but Bo has never had a season that has been this good, ever, and I don't know if I'd be comfortable in saying that he will have a season like this again. So, whatever NHL team goes out there and pays the man his money that he's asking for, I just hope you do your research, because this is an expensive player that may be playing the most expensive kind of hockey that he's ever had. But I'm not too sure whether or not it's appropriate to price him over that $56 million range because of it. So, talk in the comments all your thoughts about Bo Horvat and the contract situation at hand, whether or not he is probably good enough to get a $56+ million deal, maybe over the span of X amount of years, whatever, you can fill in the blanks there as to what you feel is appropriate. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the prices, what Horvat wants, what the Canucks are not willing to go over. Links will be in the description if you want to go ahead and read the 32 Thoughts article. But I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.